In 2019, a military family living on post at Fort Cavazos, formerly known as Fort Hood, found there was mold in their home that was built and maintained by the company Fort Hood Family Housing. This week, the Kiernan family has been awarded $10.3 million from the private company for their medical problems and financial losses caused by the mold. News 10's Jessica Rajkumar spoke with the mother of the family and how the negligence of the housing company almost resulted in the death of her youngest son.
In 2019, Sergeant Jason Kiernan and his wife Sarah were living in a house on Fort Cavazos, formerly known as Fort Hood, when they noticed they were dealing with various respiratory illnesses and fatigue whenever they were home.
We were in the house long enough that he will never be healed wholly from living there.
When Sarah Kiernan and her husband, Sergeant Jason Kiernan, lived on post in Fort Hood in 2019, the couple and their two sons all started to slowly fall sick while she was pregnant with her third child.
I was under the impression that because it was like a newer build is what they call it, and one of the more desired houses on the post, I thought, oh, it couldn't be our house.
And when her son was born and came home for the first time, she noticed he was struggling to breathe.
Where your trachea is, it was like really sinking in, and you could tell that he was working harder to get each breath. So we took him to the emergency room, and that's kind of what led to him. It just got worse from there, and that's why he needed to be life flighted.
The cause of his illnesses were a mystery until weeks later her middle son fell through a wall, revealing the alleged cause of everyone's sickness: black mold that had eaten away at the house.
I felt bad because at first when the wall opened up, I thought like they were roughhousing too much or something. Like I was angry, and then I realized like the wall was actually like soft and it wasn't his fault. Like there was something really wrong.
Kiernan says her son's way of life has been impacted forever by the toxic mold, and her husband left the military to take care of him full time.
He has a lot of medical struggles, and sometimes he babbles like a baby would. I think if I were to compare it, he probably is on like a 2, maybe 2.5-year-old level. Like he's saying new things now that we were kind of like, and he's 5. So
arbitrators assigned to the case found the private company showed a lack of care or concern for the families and awarded the Kiernans $10.3 million for their medical and economic damages. But Kiernan says she is sure they are not the only family to go through this, and says the private company and Fort Cavazos should try and fix the housing before someone else gets sick.
It's in their best interest and the best interest of military members and their families to just confront it head on and know that this is real, and do the right thing and do something about it.
Kiernan says they have moved to New Hampshire and her husband is no longer in the military. We reached out to Fort Cavazos and they said in a statement that the soldiers who live on base have the right to safe, clean, and healthy homes, and they prioritize the safety and welfare of their soldiers and their families. Reporting in studio, Jessica Rajkumar, KWTX News 10.